Welcome to Learn to Live Stress-Free. This is Christine Wright with Dr. Robert Wright Jr., your go-to wellness coaches of www.stressfreenow.info. Our featured guest today is Biba Pedron, speaking on how to raise your online and offline visibility to boost sales and profits for business success. Although neither Biba nor I can remember exactly when and where we first met, we agree that we've known each other for 10 years. I've always admired Biba's ability to reinvent and grow her business. Bob and I have observed and learned from Biba at a distance, and we find her expertise as an entrepreneur, marketer, and networker to be extraordinary. Biba is a business coach, marketing expert, speaker, and author. She helps countless small business owners connect the dots of marketing, social media, networking, and branding to grow their businesses by teaching simple but effective real-time marketing strategies that really work, so they can attract more clients online and offline while building a six-figure business and following their individual passions and doing what they love best so that work becomes a form of play. Over the past 10 years, Biba not only taught networking and marketing, she also connected thousands of entrepreneurs to build partnerships. Biba was born and raised in France. With great passion and drive and little English language speaking skills, she moved to the U.S. in 2003 and within 2 years published her first book, Start Your Dream Business Today, and was known as the Connection Queen. She also wrote a number of other ebooks in both English and French. You can visit her blog at www.theconnectionqueenblog.com. Hello, Biba. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Christine. Hello, and thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Hello, Biba. Good to have you
Hi,
here
Bubba.
today. And thank you, our audience, for joining us.
It's
Biba,
a pleasure.
Biba, please tell us about yourself and what led you to do the work that you're currently doing.
Actually started long time ago, like it's once upon a time. Actually, when I was a little girl, I always dreamed that one day I will be able to live in New York. And I can't explain why. People ask me why New York. I can't explain. Maybe it's from another life. I don't know. But for a long time, I tried to do different things. So I tried to find a job in the U.S. and then find out that it was not easy because you need paperwork, you need visa and all that kind of thing. So it took me numbers of years in order to do what I wanted to do. But one day I made the decision that I wanted to travel, have the freedom to travel, to come to the U.S. as often as I wanted. So I started my own business in France. And so to be able to have the freedom to come whenever I wanted, and for about 2 years I was going back and forth, 3 months in Paris, 3 months in New York, and until I find a way to stay in the U.S. because at first I didn't plan to start my own business. I just wanted to be able to come, but then when you travel a lot, at some point at the custom, they don't really like it. They don't want to see you anymore. So I had to find a way to get a visa. And so I decided that the best way was to actually start my own business also in the U.S. after I started the one in France, and trying to see how the business was working in the U.S. because it's completely different than in France, and I didn't know anything about marketing and communication in the U.S. So I spent 3 months at the library in New York in order to get all the books that I could read and in order to learn marketing. And then I discovered networking, which was something that I never heard of before. I didn't know even the word. I didn't know the translation. I didn't know absolutely what that means. But I could see on all the books and the seminar that I was attending that they speak about networking, and you should network to meet people. You should network to get clients. So you should network to find a job. So at some point, I liked the concept, and I decided to start my own business, organizing my own events, and that will be the way for me to get my visa to be able to stay and live in the U.S. permanently. So even if at first, my very first experience with networking events was to go to an event, take my name tags, and rush outside the door maybe probably in 2 minutes because I was so shy. I saw like 200 people in a room, in a bar, a lot of noise. And at that time, my English was really, really basic, like almost nothing. And so I was wondering how people could do business doing networking, and I didn't really get the concept. But then I learned more, and I attended seminars to learn more about networking, and I finally decided to go to other events. And at the end, actually, I organized events in New York for 5 years. And while I was doing it, I realized that people meet at networking events, they exchange a business card, but usually nothing happened after that. Very few people follow up, or at least follow up effectively. So I realized that if I wanted to have a successful business, I will have to find a way to see how really networking works in order to get clients and to turn contact into clients. So I created a system just for myself, just to make sure that I was more effective and I could get more clients out of it. And then very quickly, so my events got successful, and people asked me, saw the result, and they asked me what was my secret, knowing that, within a year or two, I didn't speak English, I didn't know anybody, and then suddenly I had all of these events, and I had all of these people, and I was connecting people all the time. And that's how actually I got the nickname of the Connection Queen, because people noticed that I was connecting people all the time. And then in order to share not my secret actually, but my strategy, I started coaching people and show them the strategy that I used every day on my business in order to grow my business with networking. And then a few years later, social media arrived, so I adapted my coaching to social media, and which led to today, and where I help hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs, both in the U.S. and France, and in Europe, and to use all the strategy to grow the visibility online and offline to expand the business. And I have to say that some of my clients have extraordinary results with it.
Thank you, Biba. I can definitely understand and see that. I remember the first time I met you, as I said, although I can't place it, I was always amazed at your ability to work independently and steadily and creatively, and just to do one thing and then the next and the next. Now, with online and offline visibility, which is one better than the other? What's the benefit of having both of those, and how do you do this?
Well, the main thing that I teach to my clients is really to attract people instead of chasing them. And the best way for that is actually to be visible everywhere. So, because actually you don't want to try to sell anything and do a sales pitch to people when you meet them, whether it's when you meet people at a networking event, when it's live, or when you meet people online. So you really want to communicate, and the more you communicate, the more people get to know you, and then you can turn conversation into conversion. And then which means that you don't have to do a sales pitch at all, and never. You just, as I said, turn the conversation to conversion. And I prefer you use that technique or that strategy than trying to arrive in front of people and say, hey, look, this is what I do, this is my product, buy my product. And the best way to get your visibility is really, it happens when when people see you more and more on various media. So today we are lucky. When we met 10 years ago, we didn't have social media, so we had to do other ways. But really, social media now help a lot for the business. And I don't think that there's never be a best time to start a business or to grow a business, because social media, it's mainly free. So at least you can use it for free, and you can meet people from all over the world. Well, I live in Miami, and I have clients in Europe and in France, as I mentioned. I haven't been to France in the past 7 years. So it's not that I go over there to find clients, and the only way that I find clients is really through internet and through social media. So when you know how to use effectively Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and when people see see you everywhere, but it's not enough to see you everywhere, but they need to see that you have quality information, that you deliver information. You're not trying to sell all the time. Each time you post something, you're not trying to sell your product. You try to communicate, you give information, you give tips, you share information from other people that can be a resource for your audience also. And so the more people can see you, the more they get to know you. And the more they get to know you, the more they like you, the more they trust you. And then at some point, they have the feeling that they know you very, very well, so they can either become your clients because they need your service, or they can refer your people because then they notice that you're very professional, that you give very good information, that you had great results in your business. And then so they know that they can definitely send you people, and those people will be taken care of. So, and it's the same thing about the networking when you see networking live or when you see networking offline. And networking live also doesn't have to be local. A lot of people go to the Chamber of Commerce or to the local networking events that they have where they live. But networking also very often it can go from going from social media to then you pick up the phone or you speak to the people on Skype wherever they are. They can be the same city, they can be on the other side of the world, but so that way you learn about them on social media or on their website, and at some point you exchange different messages and say, well, maybe we can see that we have different synergy together, or common point, or different interests, so maybe we should talk. So you can talk on the phone or you can talk on Skype. I mean, Skype changed my business completely because I coach all of my clients on Skype, so they are on the other side of the world, but I still see them, so you can meet people that way. And then for networking, also don't hesitate to travel and eventually attend big events. If you have, I often go to California because there's more events than here in Florida, so don't be afraid to take the plane or take the train or in order to network, to make sure that you will meet people in your target market. Of course, you don't want travel to just go to an event to go to an event, but it's very important that you are where your target market is, because as we say, fish where the fish are. So if you pay for an event, so if you spend time at an event, you want to make sure that you will get the return on your investment. So make sure that if you attend an event where there is like 200 or 300 people, of course you made the research before and you're sure that this is your target market. So you will be visible there at the live events. Then you will be able to follow up with people after through social media, through email, through internet, and through phone and Skype in different ways. So that way, the more people get to see you, the more they learn about you, and that's how they will decide to work with you or to refer you to other people.
Yes, excellent. Audience, will be back in a moment on Learn to Live Stress-Free. We're speaking with the Connection Queen, Biba Pedron.
Have you been procrastinating about completing an important project or pursuing a treasured dream? Christine Wright specializes in helping her coaching clients to lay out clear, goal-achieving strategies. She shows you how to quickly build your confidence and uncover and eliminate your habitual patterns of resistance and self-sabotage. Let Christine help you discover those meaningful insights that will get you to do what works so you can celebrate your successes. Go to stressfreenow.info/contact to let Christine know that you're ready to live your ideal life. Again, that's stressfreenow.info/contact. Are you dealing with stress burnout, chronic pain, anxiety, or unresolved grief? Hi, this is Dr. Robert Wright, Jr., the Stress Relief Doctor. I'm an author, speaker, and stress management wellness coach, co-host of the Learn to Live Stress-Free Now podcast series. I hold a PhD in Transformative Studies and a master's degree in psychology. I am the author of the first published study to show the connection between stress reduction, grief recovery, and nitric oxide spiking and the relaxation response. I also have a wealth of practical knowledge which helps you to relieve the stresses of everyday life so that you can live longer and play with your grandchildren. Work with me, and I'll give you the tools that you need to dissolve your pain points easily and effortlessly. Email me to find out how you can start to feel better now at stressfreenow.info/contact. That's stressfreenow.info/contact.
Welcome back to Learn to Live Stress-Free. Today we're speaking with Biba Pedron. Biba, before the break, you mentioned in traveling, that's I think, a very good point. Don't hesitate to travel. Some people may not even think of that. When you are fishing where the fish are, do you have a set 2 or 3 point plan when you're networking of what is important to do in that connection, and even more so, what is important not to do when you're making the networking connection?
Well, what people have to remember is that networking is not selling. That's the very first thing. So very often when because I don't attend local networking events anymore, but when I used to organize them, or at some point I attended some of them here in Miami, you see people who arrive in front of you, you don't know who they are, they absolutely don't know anything about you, and the first thing that they give you the pitch. They don't know if you're their target market. They don't know if you have any interest. They don't even introduce themselves. They just try to sell your product. And I saw this mistake numbers of times. So that's definitely the no-no. And you don't want to do a sales pitch at all. I always say to my clients, the less you try to sell, the more you will sell. So that's always people say, how do you sell if you don't try to sell? And once again, it goes to the conversation. When you are at an event, you need to, networking live, you're here to introduce yourself. You're here to get to know people, to learn more about them, to listen. A good networker is a good listener. And then you try to help them right away. Even if it's not related to your business. If in the conversation people say that they're looking for, I don't know, a special software, or they're looking for somebody to print the business card, or they're looking for a printer, or whatever they're looking for. If you have the information, if you have the resource, it's very important to try to help them. You know, not everything is about our business, and actually networking is not about us, it's about other people. So the more you will try to help other people, the more they will remember you, because they say, oh, this person, pay attention to what I said, first of all, so she listened, and she gave me a very good resources, or she gave me a very good information. And those people will remember you in the future.
I think that's very true.
Yeah. So that's the very first things. And the most important thing in networking is to give without expecting anything in return. So don't come with an agenda to say, oh, okay, I'm at this event and I need to leave with 3 or 4 sales. No, you're here, you meet people, you introduce yourself, you make sure that people know what you do, who you are, what you do, and what's the benefit of your product or your services, but you don't try to sell anything, and then you try to help them. So if you give without expecting anything in return, if you do it effectively, actually it's the same as don't try to sell and you will sell more. So don't try to get anything in return, but if you do it correctly, you will get a lot more in return, because once again, people will notice you. They will remember you, and after the event, when you meet people, you had a conversation with them, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, you met somebody else at another networking event and said, well, few days ago I met somebody and they may need your services, or a few days ago I met somebody and it might be a good contact with you. So it's not just at the networking events that you have to connect people, but just continue who you can connect, and then contact the people and say, well, I think you should call this person. Or, the reason why I was called the Connection Queen, even if I hated that name at the very beginning, and it took me a long time to decide to accept it, but it's just because I guess it was in my personality to connect people even before I know what was networking or something like that. So when you do it and when it's in you and you don't have an agenda, then people remember you. So that way, the same. They know that you will give them a good tips, a good resource, a good contact. So then they will also send you clients, or they will use your service when they need your service. So that's what's very important. And the thing that you have to remember, as I said, networking is not selling. So the first thing is that you meet the people, then you get to know them. The third thing, you follow up with them, and then only at that time, the fourth step is the sales process. But if you start the first step with the sales process, you lose people, you lose the interest, and they will say, oh, another one would try to sell me something. So that's very important.
Well, the formula you mention is really takes the pressure off the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Biba, this is amazing what you've just talked about. What's interesting to me about it is that it is actually counterintuitive and is the opposite of how most people would approach marketing. Would you agree to that? Because most people come to an event saying, the reason I'm going to this event is that I want to make a sale or multiple sales, and my criteria is I need to meet a C-level person, or I need to meet the sales manager, or I need to meet somebody that can connect me. And so the average person going to any event, whether it's networking or otherwise, comes with an agenda. And so what you're saying is actually the opposite. So my question to you is, it seems pretty obvious that one of the benefits is that what you're saying makes people more other-oriented and less selfish, but it also seems to me that it requires a level of patience, because our society, we tend to like to do things fast food, you want service fast, and so your approach is a higher quality, but it would seem to require patience. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's the relationship in business is then the relationship with friendship. I mean, you don't see somebody in the street and say, do you want to become my friend, or do you want to marry me? So it doesn't happen like that.
Why
I wish
not?
I could do that.
You just, somebody on the subway, you just walk up to them and say, love at first sight, you probably get a slap, right?
Absolutely. So in business it's the same thing, because you don't want to rush, because if you rush, you don't have the time to know the person. So maybe you will do business with them immediately, but then you realize that, well, since you didn't know anything about them, then they're not the professional that you were expecting, or you give a referral to somebody and they say, well, the person then come back and complain and say, well, you sent me to that person, but really I didn't get the service that I was expecting. So of course it will take time, because once again, it's very important to get to know the people. And also, if you select the events correctly, because often most of the people go to networking events just because there's a networking event, and just expecting that, okay, if there's like 50 people, will become my clients or something like that. So they expect the sales, but they don't do their homework before they attend the event. So it's very important, first of all, that you attend the networking events only if you know that your target market is here, as I mentioned before, you fish where the fish are. And don't go to a networking event just because it was only $10 or just because it's free and because you will have like a free drink or something. Just if you do your homework before. And once again, with social media now, it's even easier, because most of the time you have the invitation on Facebook, on LinkedIn, so you already know who is coming. So you can look at the profile of the people in advance. You can look at the website. You can get to know the people even before the events and connect with them. So you can start the relationship there, so that way you know that they are a good fit for your business, or it could be a good referral or something, so then you continue the conversation at the event and leave the time to work. I mean, in networking, sometimes I had people who became contacted or clients or who refer me people after a few years sometimes. It's not because you attend the event that automatically something will happen within the next month. So that's why the more you get to know the people, and after the event, same thing. Social media will help you, because you connect with them on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you see what they wrote. Eventually, you sign up for the mailing list, you receive the email, you see the article, you see how professional they are. And only then you know that you can work with those people so that they can become your clients, or you can do partnership or something, or refer them to other people. So of course it has to take time, but if you do your homework correctly, and if you only go to places where you know that your target market is, then in some cases it won't take that long, because you won't go to an event just expecting that one person will be a good fit for you.
Well, Biba, this is brilliant what you said, because I feel like I've been on both ends and guilty of receiving both experiences. Here's what I mean. I have been at events, not necessarily a networking event, but at an event where I have given my elevator pitch, and I can actually remember specific moments where I lost that person's attention, where what I would call that in NLP speak, it would be you lost rapport. And so you're giving me new insight that rushing, trying to make the sale or speed up the process actually has the opposite effect. So I can actually remember when I would experience losing that person's attention. And I said, oh, I lost them. I could actually see the moment. And then on the other side, I have been at networking events where people have been pushing their cards on me. And, I remember a guy, he was in insurance or estate planning or something like that. And several people like that, they were just shoving their cards at you and then trying to make an appointment. And as you said, without knowing anything about you. And so I want to thank you that is really brilliant what you said, because I feel that we all probably have experienced both sides. We're on being the seller and when somebody's trying to sell us too quickly. And so that's really very, very good. I wanted to ask you this, Biba. One of the things I admire about you is that you have a high ability to work independently, yet you also are somehow able to maintain close family ties. How would you say does maintaining your strong family relationship impact your business success?
Well, yeah, people say that, well, for me it's normal that the relationship that I have with my parents, but for some people it's strange. But first of all, I'm a single child, an only child. So since very beginning, I'm always, and that, I guess it's in my personality to be very independent, and also that's the way my parents raised me, to know how to do things on my own. So even when I was a little girl, it's time they included me in the decision of the house, whether it was to pick the paper wall or to look for furniture or something. Even if I was like 3 years old, 5 years old, my parents always asked me my opinion. They never made a decision without asking me. So that's the reason why probably I'm very close to my parents. And then I left my parents' house when I was 18 because I wanted to prove that I was able to do things on my own. But even if I left the house at 18, we also call each other. At first, we used to call each like once a day because we were used to, to talk a lot, and we say what we do during our day or something like that. And then since communication, it's almost free now. I can call in France like 10 times a day, and it won't cost me more. So now we actually talk twice a day. I call them when I get up in the morning. We have a kind of routine and ritual. So I call them when I get up in the morning, and then I call them around 3 p.m. for me, so it's about 9 p.m. for them. And so they're ready to go to bed, and then we say what happened during the day or something like that. So the same as if we were next to each other. So we were always like that. And with my parents, we say that our family is only the three of us. The other people, it's that the extended family, but for us, the family, it's the three of us. But the way that it's also, the way they raised me on being independent and being a single child is also that the way that I can work independently, because I started my first business in France in 1998, and I actually quit my job on a Friday evening to start my business on the Monday morning. And I started in the middle of my living room. And personally, I used to be alone because when I was a little girl, my father used to work at night. So when it was on Wednesday, when we don't have school or when it was vacation, he was in the house, but he was sleeping. So I was used to be in my room on my own, playing, not making noise, and do whatever I have to do on my own. So that's the reason why probably personally I can't work in a room if there's other people. So whether it's in my office or when I started in my living room, I really like to work on my own. I'm very independent. I never had any issue when I started overnight I was a salesperson, then to start working in my house. I know I'm disciplined enough to know that, okay, from 9 to right now I work usually from 9 in the morning to 9 p.m., and this is work. This is the office. So it's not because I'm in the house, or it's not because the TV is in the next room that I will watch the TV. It's not because I have the pool downstairs that I will go to the pool in the afternoon or something like that. I always known how to be very disciplined, and personally, being independent, it's like a strength for me, and that's how it helped me. I try a few times to work in an office with other people. Even having my assistant in my office, I can't do that. I have to be on my own.
Very interesting, Biba. Recently, you were part of an online virtual summit panel of experts for Quantum Leap. Mm-hmm. Can you briefly share with our audience some of the key marketing insights you shared with that audience? I had listened to you on that call, and you were pretty amazing.
Thank you. Well, what I say most of the time is that, as I said at the beginning, is you need to be visible online and offline. For me, that's the key to succeed in business. And you have to be good in what you do, of course. Because the more you do that, the more you will turn your contact into clients, and the more you will turn conversation into conversion, so that way you don't have to do the sales pitch. But one of the things that is very important, and we mentioned it after that call, we talked about it together, and you said you liked it, was the testimonials. And I said to all of my clients that testimonials are really crucial in the business, because testimonials, if you have a good one, it's about 50 to 70% of the sales. So once again, you don't even have to do a sales pitch if it works correctly. So of course, depend on the testimonial. If somebody tells you, well, I work with Biba and she's very nice or she's really great, that's nice, but that won't help me. Now, if I have a testimonial, or if you have a testimonial where your clients say, well, you're very good, and what was the situation before, what was the situation after, that they were able to, for example, double their revenue in 2 months, or get like their first clients in a week, or different things like that, when there is real results, then you don't have to do a sales pitch once again. That's what I always say. Don't even try to sell. Do your business correctly, and then you will get the sales. Because then when you have people who see the testimonials, whether it's written testimonials or even better if you have a video testimonials with your clients, the other people, they will see the results. They know that they are in the same situation, and they, of course, want the same result. And I say, if that person were able to change and double their revenue in 2 months, I want to do that too. So if that person is the one that helped them, so I want to work with them too. So then they come to you at some point and they say, I want to work with you because. And the reason is because they already know the result that they will be able to get. So you don't have to do a sales pitch at all. And for example, when I do often when I do a strategy session that I offer to people just to see what they need and how I can help them and if I can help them, I don't even have to do anything, because they arrive, they already saw my video, they saw the message, or they say they like the message, they say they like the way that I think or the way that I teach, they saw the client's testimonial, and they say, well, I'm ready to start. When can I start? And the good things with that is when people come to you instead of chasing them, well, they're ready to work with you, but they're also ready to pay for how much you charge. They will be ready because they know that they will be able to get the result. So that's why when I say to my clients, and I don't even know the expression in English, but I say to all of my clients, do testimonials. And even if you hear me speaking about testimonials over and over and over, and I repeat myself about testimonials, I said I will never repeat myself enough, that the testimonials will make a big difference in your success or if you fail in your business.
Wow, Biba, that is amazing. One of the really intriguing things that you said during our recent meeting was that many entrepreneurs need to raise their prices, and they don't have the faith about raising their prices. They're afraid that if they raise their prices, they'll lose customers or clients. Can you discuss the mindset that a person would need and the actions needed for success in that area? Because getting a person to really see that she needs to raise her prices to be more profitable and to weed out the people that are wasting the time. Can you just talk a little bit about that issue?
Well, actually, that's interesting, because that's one of the first things that I do with all of my clients is first I raise the price. But the thing is, most people think that if they try to sell a product to everybody, and we hear that in networking, when you meet somebody, you say, who is your product for? And say, oh, it's for everybody. So the people who think that the product is for everybody and want to sell to everybody, so they think they will sell a lot more, and at the same time, they think that if they have a low price, they will sell more. Most of the time, those are the same people who struggle to get clients and to make a sale. So the very first thing that you need is, first of all, to know your target market and your niche. So when you know that, when you do your homework and you know that when you start your business, your message will resonate a lot more with the people who are concerned. So then the more you raise your price, the more you get people also already committed to do what it takes to succeed, whether it's in the business or somebody who wants to lose weight or whatever it is, somebody who wants to stop smoking, whatever the result is. But if you have the right message with them, if you know exactly what will resonate with them, and they see your result, and once again, they will see, for example, your testimonials, they want to work with you. So then the price is not important because they don't pay for a price, they pay for the result. So then when you do that, you get people ready to invest in themselves. So I usually help my clients, first of all, to work on the packages to see what price they offer, how they offer it. And usually I say to people to have like 3 packages because we're speaking about the mindset. The same thing, you have 3 packages. Let's say you have 500,000 and 1,500. Well, people, of course, if they don't have that much money, they may say my budget is 500. But then they will also see that the benefits in the package of 1,000 or 1,500 is a lot more, so they will get more results. So if they are really committed, if they want to change in their life, they will see, let's say, the package at 1,000. Maybe they don't have the money, but they know that they want that result. They want your help at $1,000 level, and then they will find the money. So that's why it's not an issue to raise your price, because then you get really your ideal clients. You get the people you really want to work with, people who are ready to do what it takes to succeed. So in that case, they're ready to invest.
Wonderful, Biba. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today and for being our guest.
Thank you.
Biba, I think our audience listening to you, they'll definitely say, how can I work with you, and how can you, help me grow my business? So what's the best way for people to contact you and to just get all this wonderful information and services that you offer?
Well, the best way is definitely to go directly to my website, theconnectionqueenblog.com, and there they will be, I offer like a free series of 6 video marketing called Marketing Made Easy, and I also offer a free ebook, 15 ways to instantly skyrocket your networking results, so they will be able to get a lot more details on what we said today. And I also offer like a 15-minute strategy session to see what people need, so after they see the video, if they have the feeling that they want more, so I can see how I can help them. And they can also join me on Facebook at facebook.com/biba.pedron and let me know that you were on the call and you were on this interview, and say hello and we can connect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Biba. So you can contact Biba at her site, theconnectionqueenblog.com, and you can connect with her also on Facebook. And Biba, I just want to say, we look forward to many more interviews with you, and certainly the way you spoke about working independently and your closeness with your family, I think many people admire that and aspire to that. I think many times when we're working, more often than not, people are looking for distractions and not to look at the work they're doing, and I think that's a testimony to really your being able to build your skill sets and your business. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Biba, what final thoughts or key idea would you like our audience to take away from today's broadcast?
If there's 3 things that they should remember is first, the more visible they will be, the more clients they will get. Second is network, whether it's online or offline. And third, once again, it's give without anything in return, and they will be very surprised how the big return they will receive.
Okay, wonderful, Biba. I want to thank you, Biba, for your interview today with us, and I want to thank our audience for listening. Wherever you are in whatever time zone you are in. We welcome and look forward to your comments about our show. Please contact us through our website with your feedback and suggestions. Remember, listeners, if you'd like to experience the same benefits our coaching clients get with us and learn how to get control of your schedule or easy ways to dissolve your chronic pain, stress, or anxiety, feel free to call us at 954-900-2179. For Christine Wright, this is Dr. Robert Wright, Jr. of www.stressfreenow.info. Until next time, be safe and be well.